Chaos as deadly violence unfolded in tiny Leland, Mississippi.
We got to do better. Leland homecoming, man.
Authorities say 6 were killed after a shooting on Main Street following the town's homecoming football game Friday night.
People who were enjoying themselves last night found themselves faced with violence that no community should be faced with.
The victims ranging in age from 18 to 41. Across the state, another deadly shooting.
We have a medical call at Heidelberg High School. It's going to be multiple people shot.
This one at a high school football game in the small town of Heidelberg, where officials say 2 people died. Mississippi's governor says one of the victims was pregnant. Police today arresting an 18-year-old suspect. And in Rolling Fork, Mississippi, a third shooting outside of a local football game there last night. Authorities there arresting 2 individuals. While back in Leland, the search for the gunman continues, city leaders asking for help.
This is not a time to keep your mouth closed. It's a time you open your mouth. You can save a lot of lives if you open your mouth and tell us what you have seen.
The mayor working to heal a community in pain and on edge.
Please pray for Leland, Mississippi. Pray for your city, and let's pray for this country.
Jay Gray joins me now from Leland. And Jay, what do we know about the investigation tonight and the other victims there?
Yeah, and Savannah, let's start with that investigation. Within the last hour, we've seen...
Look at this country hick town, bro.
Crews up and inspecting what is the town's only surveillance camera here. It was trained directly where this happened, so it could provide some necessary video for this investigation as it continues. As for the other victims, we know at least 10 others were transported from this scene to area hospitals.
Yo, the word is that multiple different people were shot after Friday night going into Saturday morning. And multiple different shootings throughout these areas where, you know, these different homecoming games, and it was high school shootings, basically. What you found was at least 8 people died, and in at least 2 of the situations, which they didn't identify the general population or the shooter in the third, or who it is that they thought that they was looking for, it wound up being a black man or a young black guy in both situations. In which one of the situations, the ranges of ages of people that was shot was anywhere from a young 17-year-old all the way into people in their 40s. And then we wonder why the fatigue is so real, because people can't even get along, and this is what a mass shooting looks like in the black community. It ain't even nothing there. Like, if you're looking at this and you looking at the different things that was going on in the backgrounds and stuff like that, and he said that that was the only camera in the town that was active. And then they got to go and look at the footage as though it's a whole lot of different cameras that you got to source through in order to see footage. That was the only camera in the town that you got to go and look through in order to see whether or not, you know, it provides you some additional insight or context from the shootings. You know, I've been starting to look at a lot of different cities. And I got a lot of footage that I need to go through because I'm making a video. And I'm doing a reaction video, a couple different videos for 2 different channels, one for this one and one for another one, about different cities like Oakland. And I actually plan on flying over to these places, which I'm a little bit more apprehensive. I used to be a lot more adventurous in my earlier days on YouTube. Some of my first viral videos was actually doing urban exploration and going to different cities and documenting the journey and stuff like that. I'm a little bit more apprehensive nowadays because I just got a lot more to lose and I'm a little bit older. And so, you know, I'm a lot more cautious in the way that I move. So, of course, you're going to have security and things like that. But when I go and visit certain places, like I've been to towns like this, not specifically this, but like I've been around Mississippi, landed in Biloxi, and then shot over to New Orleans and explored through all the different places in Louisiana and different places over in Mississippi. And then I wanted to head over to Alabama, but I didn't have enough time, so I said that I was going to fly back there. It's nothing in these type of towns. That's why, like the football games and the football towns and the footballs, like, you know, Alabama doesn't have like a big team or something like that. But at the same time, and I'm talking about an NFL team, but when you talk about Alabama to college, is such a big deal because that's like the NFL team. So when you see the backgrounds of places like this, you have to show a level of appreciation for the places that you're in because, you know, it doesn't even mean, like, even if you over in Chicago, right? And I know I get on Chicago a lot, but in reality, even though they're headed towards bankruptcy because the politicians don't know how to manage the cities effectively, when you go over into the Magnificent Mile, yeah, they having vacancy rate issues, but it's 2 million times better than living in a Leland, Mississippi that's holding on by a thread, don't even really probably have any industries or jobs. And the downtown area look like that, look like an abandoned building. And then people got the nerve to be killing each other over in these type of places. And not only are they killing each other, it's mass shootings in more than one place. 3 places in one night. 3 places in one night. It's crazy, bro. Let me give y'all a little bit more insight what's happening in this Leland situation.
Town of Leland, Mississippi is shocked tonight. This is caution tape sitting on the building right at an intersection of North Main and 4th Street. This is that exact spot where the Leland police chief can.
Look at this place. It's nothing. And when I say nothing, it is nothing happening over there.
Confirmed with us that 6 people lost their lives, along with 12 others injured in a shooting that happened after homecoming during a celebration on this street. And several victims were rushed to different hospitals across Mississippi. Among them, the Hinds County coroner confirmed with us an 18-year-old boy who was airlifted to UMMC in Jackson, where he later died from his injuries. One witness, Washington County Supervisor Myla Brooks, says she was inside a building nearby when all this chaos unfolded.
I was on the inside. A young girl ran on in. She was crying. That's when we saw blood just falling from her. Of course, people are running.
Crazy.
It was just a horrific situation. But after that, when the shooting ceased, we went out and we saw bodies on the ground. At the time, the sheriff department hadn't made it there. Not the large number, along with ambulance, hadn't made it there. And it's just people just laying on the ground. I saw 4 people lying on the ground.
And while this is a multiple agency investigation, the police are asking if you know anything to call Crime Stoppers. In the meantime, the people who stay in this small Delta town say the debris, the caution tape, and all the flies where the dead bodies were will serve as scars to what happened in the Delta.
That's crazy, bro. It is so crazy. I'm telling y'all, it's so much to see and explore and get insight about when you go and travel across the United States of America and to have such tragedies in smaller towns. I mean, you kind of expect this in larger places because in larger places, a lot of times, you know, you're going to get a mixture of good and bad. Even if you say that a city is really awesome, let's take a Miami, for example. And all you got to do is go 3 blocks over from some places. Like, let's just take a Wynwood, which has been highly gentrified according to a lot of people. I mean, it's changed significantly from the first time that I ever actually visited Wynwood and they had the Wynwood walls and all of that, right? It's just a distant memory of what it used to be. When you think about how certain things have evolved over in Miami, Miami has its good and Miami has its bad, even though the majority of what they show you on Miami is really Miami Beach and like Brickell and places like that, driving down Biscayne and all of that, right? But the reality is that with a greater population of people, the greater possibility of there being killings and stuff like that, because it's going to be good and bad, it's going to be ghettos and it's going to be rich places, all in super major cities, right? But when you see a place like Leland, Mississippi, which is a small Delta town, and to see such horrific crash outs over in those places is crazy. But I'm going to keep y'all in the loop. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. Teach Henley, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. Pray for the people in Leland, Mississippi, man.